I have a question. What would it take for you and 4 coworkers to climb into an unheated 22-foot lifeboat and sail it nonstop across the southern Atlantic Ocean in sub-zero temperatures? You would also need to make it through the dreaded Drake Passage with hurricane-force winds and waves which can reach 6 stories tall. Now what if I told you that I was going to take away your GPS, your radios, and any form of communication with the outside world? And that to survive, you would need to sail 800 miles in your little boat to reach a tiny speck of an island, or be lost forever. But don't decide just yet. Let's recap your adventure so far. Your expedition to traverse the last unexplored continent of Antarctica in 1914 is halted when your ship is crushed and lost, leaving you and your crew of 27 stranded on floating ice. You are eventually forced into 3 lifeboats where you battle rolling seas and deadly icebergs for days. You finally reach the uninhabitable Elephant Island, dehydrated and exhausted, only to find shelter under boats. Pounded by blizzards, winds, and the lack of proper clothing, you need to make a decision. You know you only have one good option. Sail 800 miles to the whaling station on the tiny island of South Georgia. Your name is Ernest Shackleton. You do not waver in confidence nor in focus. In your previous expeditions, you have always put your crew's safety before the mission itself. You understand that it was your reputation, vision, and optimism which drove these men to sign up for this dangerous voyage. And now it is your duty as a leader to do whatever it takes to bring them back alive. The crew immediately set about preparing the best lifeboat for the voyage. The sides are raised, tent fabric is oiled and stretched across the top, and a huge pile of rock is placed on the floor of the boat to ballast it and keep it upright. You choose your crew wisely, selecting not only the perfect men for the journey, but also selecting a few men who could be problems and sow unrest while you're away. The boat ready, it is finally launched, and once again you return to the sea. The waves, immense and taller than you have ever seen, crash over the boat and nearly capsize it. It's nearly impossible to sleep on the rocks in the boat and the never-ending seawater which constantly pours in. Then you find your drinking water has become brackish with seawater. And as you dehydrate, your tongues begin to swell and your lips crack and bleed, making it difficult to eat anything. But you persevere through it all, and you make it in 16 days. The navigation almost perfect. You have safely landed on South Georgia Island, but your brief respite has now turned to something darker and just as forbidding. Forced to land on the far side of South Georgia, away from the whaling station, you have only one option. You will need to hike the 29 miles across the island on foot. The problem is, there is no map for the island. A jagged, sheer landscape of 9,000-foot peaks, crags and crevices, covered in ice and snow. No one was ever able to map it, and thus it was uncrossable. Now, in poor health and in threadbare clothing, you have made the decision that you and 2 of the healthiest men will make the journey on foot. You remove screws from the boat, drive them through your boots to act as cleats. You pack a rudimentary tool for an ice axe and 3 days of rations, but no tents or sleeping bags. You will need to travel light and quickly. Once again, there is no room for error. If you stop or sleep, you will die from exposure. Will Shackleton make it to the whaling station? Will he be able to return and rescue the men on the far side of South Georgia Island and the balance of the crew on Elephant Island? The answers to these questions and so much more information is available from a wide variety of sources. But two of my favorite books are Endurance by Alfred Lansing and also Shackleton's Way, Leadership Lessons from the Great Antarctic Explorer by Margot Morell and Stephanie Caparel. Thank you for watching.